Hello, hello, hello. We had a bit of a small glitch over there. And for you guys who are actually watching me right now, I'm pretty excited to bring an amazing guest today. And he's all the way from the US, and he's just an amazing individual. I've had the privilege of having a great conversation with him earlier on before we actually kicked off. But you know what? If you can, guys, hear me, and please put a comment below. Just tell me that you guys can hear the sound because our kickoff point didn't have any sound on our side. But I do believe that we have the sound now and everything is pretty cool on our side, right? So, and as usual, this is our Redefine Your Hustle show every single Monday at 7 p.m. Central African time. We actually spend a great time bringing on board an amazing guest. And the whole idea for us is to be able to share quite a few of our stories, to be able to inspire you guys and ensure that you also actually kick off on your own journey to our success. And what an amazing topic today, but to actually dive in and tap into your inner self so we can actually unwrap the gift within you. And I'm bringing here an amazing guest all the way from America. He is a best selling author, an international speaker, a multi award winner individual out of the US, born in Jamaica, and he grew up in Detroit. And I'm bringing to you the one and only Dr. Eddie Connor. My man, welcome to
What's
the
going
show,
on, brother?
brother.
Glad to be with you.
My
What's going
man,
on,
my
brother? This feels like a Wakanda moment, so I'm enjoying it.
That's what it is, man. This is just
Wonderful
like that. It
Wakanda.
was kind of moment, brother. Amazing.
Yes, sir.
I am looking forward to having an amazing time with you here. And you know what? Your story is really, honestly, inspirational. I've had the time to actually dive in and figure out exactly, the kinds of work you've been able to be up to in the U.S. in Detroit. But here today, I want you really to be able to take your time and speak to me, speak to our audience. We are here to empower the Black community, but not only the Black community. I am more for entrepreneurs, right? Irrespective of where I'm from, like I mentioned to you before, I am from the DRC, but you know what? I live in Johannesburg, and it's been about 18 years. I feel pretty much part of the furniture here. And the reason for me to do so is over the last 15 years as being an entrepreneur, I know how hard it is to just being successful out there. I know how hard it is to actually just break through that moment, right? Whether it is on your journey as an entrepreneur, or whether it is at work as a professional, or whatever you want to be able to achieve in life, it is just hard. But I mean, the one thing you get to do is, and I love this title, man, you get to unwrap the gift in you. By the time you identify who you are as an individual, you then are able to determine, to figure out what is that mission that God has sent you here on earth to be able to accomplish. And those are the things I want you to talk to us about, considering that not only you've been able to write a book about it, but you are a living testimony of that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Eddie Connor. He is all the way from Detroit in the US. And feel free to jump in. Let me know in the comments where you are from. And as usual, somebody is going to win a book. So my team is watching. My team is going to be monitoring this particular show. But for you to win the book, you got to engage with me. You got to share this live. You got to put in the comments below. Please prepare your questions. If you have any question for Dr. Eddie, make sure you actually ask those questions. All right. So we want this live session to be interactive because we are actually doing this thing for you. And right now, Dr. Eddie, talk to me about you, man.
Hey, brother, what an honor it is. You impacting the world locally and globally. And so to be able to be with you and connect with you from America to South Africa,
My man.
is what it's all about. You think about where you're from, the Congo. You think about where you are in Johannesburg. Shout outs to the brothers and sisters in Cameroon and Liberia and Kenya and Ghana and Somalia and Uganda and Tanzania and Nigeria. We can keep going on and on and on and on as we
The whole
represent here in the country, but also in the continent. So I'm I'm in Detroit, my hometown is Motown, the 313. So like I love to say to everybody, what up though? But there's still some patois in me too. Yeah,
By
man,
the
no
way,
problem. Grew
let
up
me
in
throw this
Kingston.
to you. I know he is originally from Jamaica. Come on, yeah, man. I just
Yeah,
want to hear
yeah. Yeah, man,
that.
no problem, man. What Kwan?
I love that, man.
Yeah, man. I got to work on my accent a little bit more, but I lost it. I've been acculturated too long here, and he's yet to be United States of America. But
Right.
I love my African and Jamaican and Caribbean,
Yeah.
African diaspora brothers and sisters, man. We all we got. So we got nothing but love. Nothing but love.
None but love, man. None but love. But listen,
Yeah, yeah.
you are such an accomplished individual, man, and at a younger age, and you have so many accolades that if I were to actually, just spend time on reading exactly that, ladies and gentlemen, it will take me about 20 minutes just to actually go through that. But you know what? He is an accomplished. He is such an accomplished individual. But as we kick on this conversation, the one thing I want to understand really, and I want you to speak to the audience that's currently following us and encourage them as well.
Yeah.
But your journey as you survived, this stage 4 cancer. Please tell me a little bit more about that and enlighten our audience as well, please.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a living witness. Your test a testimony. Your misery is ministry. Your mess is a message. Your stumbling block is a stepping stone. And what God does is He'll use your setback as a setup for your greatest comeback. He'll literally, in many cases, use your tragedy as strategy to where you can say, you don't look like what you've been through. And I'm sure that can be your testimony as well as many of the viewers who are watching me. We put on the movie The Color Purple. I tell you, just like Sophia, all my life, I had to
Right.
fight. And so 2020 for me marks 20 years of me being cancer free, to go through
Wow.
chemotherapy and radiation,
Yeah.
to have experiencing chest pains as just a tender teenager, and to be grappling with living your life while you're just beginning your life. I'm over my friend's house watching a football game, can't breathe by halftime. I remember saying the words just like George Floyd and Eric Garner said, but for a different reason.
Right.
I can't breathe. And
Mm.
felt as if something was choking me, like I felt it was a pain of stabbing me in my chest, and feeling, like I needed to just get to the hospital. We both can't drive at the time. His mother takes me to the hospital. My mother meets me there. Doctors do a CT scan of the chest, do an X-ray, and they see they need
Right.
to take me to surgery immediately. They thought it was a punctured lung. They found out as they cut me open, they saw my cells in my body growing so fast they could see them growing with the naked eye. Right?
Right.
My heart, my trachea, my esophagus, my voice box. Ironically, I use my voice for a living, and that's where the tumor was growing. So the doctors do a CT scan of the chest, they do the X-ray, they do a surgery, they bring me out, and they said, "Eddie, we have a diagnosis for you." I'm like, "Maybe it is that puncture lung." He said, "No, you have what we call NHL." I'm like, National Hockey League? What in the world is that? He says, "No, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma." I said, "Doc, my first language is Ebonics. I'm still trying to learn English." He says, "You have not one, not two, not three, but four." I'm filling my pockets to find $4. He says, "You have stage 4 cancer."
Wow.
And faced with my mortality at that time, chemotherapy and radiation. I'm in a quarantine. I got more hair on my head than I really want to have now. But I lost all my hair, my self-confidence, my self-esteem. My own biological father was not there to even visit me one day in the hospital. And the question becomes, how do you play a role when you weren't given a script? How do you become a man if you don't see one, much less interact with one? And I'm grateful that the reason I'm alive today is because of a praying mama who told me, got to go to Psalm 118:17, which says, "You shall not die, but live and
Mm.
declare the works of the Lord." I was able to find the can in cancer, say, I can overcome, I can survive, I can live through dying places. And it's nothing but the grace of God as to why I'm here today and able to use my story as a place to walk into my destiny and help others move into their journey, and understand that, as you mentioned, unwrap the gift in you. The only way you're going to be able to unwrap it is if you understand that if you're gifted, you will be afflicted.
Mm. 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 Powerful, man. I mean, look, and that's really just an amazing story right there. And I think you've just mentioned a few things that kind of make me understand. the next question I have for you, which I asked you earlier on around women, but I think you are going to explain that as we talk about your books, right?
Sure,
And
sure.
sometimes I also do believe that it is only at a moment of when we are at a certain age in our lives that we are able to, as we're fighting for our lives, it doesn't matter what it is. We're able to identify now the power that has been bestowed within us, the true calling, the one thing that we need to be able to accomplish. Why? Because at that time we are on survival mode and we don't want to let go. We don't want to just die like that. We have to be able to identify what it is, what we want to be able to achieve. So in your case, you actually identified through the pain all of the gift that was actually bestowed upon you for you to be able to accomplish. And that can lead you on a journey to being able to write 10 books. First of all, I don't know, man, how you write 10 books. Like where on earth do you get the time to write 10 freaking books? That's really, look, please take me through that journey. And I've, the audience is going to see exactly the title that you have as part of your books, and we are going to talk about some of them right now. But take me on that journey. How do you write 10 books?
Pablo Picasso said who's one of the greatest painters of all time, said the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give your gift away. Paul told timid Timothy to stir up the gift in him. Proverbs said your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. Even if the room is packed, there's still an opportunity and still room for you. Scripture mentions that there's a treasure in an earthen vessel. And so the tragedy is to be gifted, but to never open the package. And in many cases, I was trapped in what I would not unwrap. What I mean by that is I never wanted to be a writer at all. I never envisioned myself writing a book. I was only trying to play basketball. My favorite two classes in school were gym and lunch. I wanted to chase the girls in gym and then sit down and eat with them at lunch.
Right.
And so me going through cancer really awakened something in me, fighting for my life. And my mother told me as I came out of cancer, you got to write your book. I said, I don't want to write a book. She said, your story is not for you, it's to empower somebody to go through what you've been through. And so I said, all right, I'll just write one book for you. I'm only going to write one book in my life. I dedicated it to her, purposefully prepare to persevere, how to find the can of cancer. This is your book, mama. But the thing is, everybody kept asking, when's the next one coming? And I realized as I was writing the first book, I was healing. I was healing from the bitterness. I was healing from the trauma. I was healing from the pain of, in many cases, where I would not turn the page on and write a new chapter. And so from that whole aspect, I realized that there's a gift in me that the words that I speak, your words create your world. What you speak into the atmosphere will appear. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so I had to speak life into my own life to be able to speak life into other people's lives. And so to be able to write, 10 books we'll see how many more come out of that after that. But to be able to do that, I'm not new to a quarantine. I'm true to a quarantine. And so being able to mute the noise around me to find the true voice and to hear the true voice within me, greater is he that's within me. So to be able to realize that and translate that pain onto paper and turn it into power has been nothing short of amazing. And to hear, I've spoken at a church yesterday, a social distance service. Every church is a mega church now, but a woman was crying after service. She said she read one of my books that are written to women, and she just said, thank you for helping me to become the woman that I am today. And, whether man or woman, somebody is waiting for you to be who you are so they can become who they're supposed to be. And so while you're trapped in your house, when you can't go outside, now is the time to go inside with what you have within.
I love that. I love that. Listen, guys, wherever you are coming live from, please tell me in the comments where you're from. Tell me in the comments where you are from. There is a special giveaway at the end of this particular session. One book. In fact, the book titled Unwrap the Gift in You. One participant is going to become the new owner of that particular book. Okay, but for you to be able to do so, make sure that you share this live, you invite your friends, make comments, prepare your questions. Okay, Dr. Eddie is here to be able to impact us with his testimony. And this is a powerful, powerful testimony. Cynthia Green, thank you indeed for tuning in from Texas. Make sure that you share this live. And if you don't have this book, you might just stand a chance to be able to win this book. All right. So some love from Texas, brother. Some love from Texas. So if I understand correctly, you then went on to write Wife, Woman, and Dr. Queen. So not Dr. Queen, the Queen. I may have to spell that, right? But I think
they can be doctors too.
was that actually in relation to your mother, who actually really encouraged you to go out there and write a book and believe and make you believe in yourself?
Without a doubt, you know, I really credit a lot of my perspective on women to my mother. She helped me to fight through what I didn't even want to live through. You know,
Right.
She helped me to fight cancer when I wanted to give up. It's a mother's love. It's a mother's fight. It's women who stand like her, who stand on the front lines, and when oftentimes us as men stand on the sidelines. Malcolm X put it this way. He said, most neglected, unprotected, and disrespected woman on the planet is the Black woman. But a lot of times when we have forsaken our way or left or found the different route to the path and veered off from the path, rather, they help us to rewrite the course and correct it. But I think it also comes from the whole aspect of people asking me all the time, when am I going to get married? And they ask me as if I'm unemployed looking for a job. So, so to recognize the value in our sisters, for them to wear their crown, build their queendom in the kingdom of God, but also to let our sisters know that real queens don't compete, they collaborate. Real queens are not chasing a man, they're focused on their purpose and plan. Real queens understand that their royalty demands loyalty. As a result, they wear their crown and they build their queendom in the kingdom of God. And then it generates from this whole aspect. Just because you have an S on your chest, meaning that you're single, doesn't mean you're scarred, you're scared, or you're suffering in silence. But in many cases, it ought to mean that you're strong. It ought to mean that you're selective. It ought to mean that you're saved, sanctified, satisfied, and that you also have a standard. And so speaking to our queens, but also unwrapping the whole aspect of us as men, you know, a lot of times we act like we're Superman, but in many cases we're Clark Kent. You know, we want to parade as if we're Black Panther, but in many cases we're really T'Challa. So, so with that whole aspect, I like to let people know, you know what, it might not be your time to date. It just might be your time to wait. Waiting on God is not a waste of time. And it's better to wait long than it is for you to rush and to marry wrong. And so those are all contained in that book, those books, and it's going to be empowering.
You're speaking to me, and you're speaking some amazing words and some more powerful words, man. Like really, I am just taken away by your words, brother. So there's three more books that I want to tap into and understand from you. My Brother's Keeper. So that became Barack Obama's program that he implemented. So can you tell me a little bit more about that? And I want to touch on the econ, the icon, as well as the 2020 vision as well. Please tell me a little bit more about your My Brother's Keeper.
Without a doubt, you know, I've been in education for the past 12 to 15 years, teaching on the high school as well as the collegiate level, and developed a program for young males called Boys to Books. Oftentimes, when our young brothers open up a book, they close their eyes. Right. The illiteracy and incarceration epidemic are interconnected. And so I said, if we can just really remediate the whole aspect of reading, but also helping young men to make the transition from boyhood to manhood. What does it mean to really be a Black man in America? What does it mean to really make that journey from boyhood to manhood and actually do something good in your neighborhood? And so I worked in Congress with former Congressman Hanson Clark. We developed a resolution, HRES 721, which became an impetus for President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative, focusing on literacy, focusing on providing job opportunities, focusing on remediating, in many cases, the incarceration epidemic where Black men and women are warehoused at a disproportionate rate, looking at many of these cultural factors. And so I said,
Right.
let me just write the book, My Brother's Keeper. Dr. King suggested that if we fail to live together as brothers, we'll perish together as fools. And so Malcolm X said, nobody's going to give you freedom, justice, or equality. If you're a man, take it. So I really want
Sure.
to just place an onus on our brothers to take off the mask, because oftentimes masculinity is a mask. We
Right.
hide behind our money, our muscles, our Mercedes, phone book full of ladies. We hide
Sure.
behind all of the
All right.
accoutrements of what it looks like, of what a man is supposed to be. But a man is not solely focused on what he has below his waist. He's concerned about what's above his neck. There's difference between gender and your God-given gift. How do I
Right.
walk in my God-given gift? That's through maturational development. When I was a child, I spake as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. Certain
Right.
things are not going to leave by osmosis. We've got to put it away so that we can continue to create a way in our
Sure.
communities.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then you go on. I know you got a book coming out this month or this year. If it hasn't already, that will be 2020 Vision. And you
Yes.
have a summit that goes along with it as well. The Vision Summit 2020. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about that particular book and what inspired you to actually write the book?
Right. 2020 Vision came out earlier this year, and I really focused on this is pre-quarantine, pre-corona. Focused on how to see beyond what you see and transform your reality. If you have sight but no vision, you're still blind. Vision is not of the eyes, vision is of the heart. Faith is revelation, faith is vision. When I walk by faith, not by sight, I tap into vision, because insight is greater than eyesight. And so I wrote the caption, How to See Beyond What You See and Transform Your Reality. Little did I know that I would be living through what I was reading. I would be living through what I was writing about. And the
Right.
question becomes now, what do you do when so many people have given up on 2020? They said they had their vision board. Now they ripped it up because, well, my 2020 vision ain't no more. It was just your vision. And so it's too small. You need a bigger
Right.
vision. You need God's vision for your life, because 2019, you can't go back to it. Can't get on
No.
a Uber and sail right back into it and drive back into 2019. There's no G5 plane or Delta flight that's going to put you all on the flight on your own and send you into 2021. You're in 2020. 2021 ain't here yet. 2019 not coming back. What are you going to do now? Vision is not needed when life is sunshiny. It's needed and necessary when those same clouds crowd the whole sun that you were thinking about, that whole aspect of that life. Vision is needed and necessary when you are dealing with storms and situations. The most dangerous place that you can be in life is not when you're walking on water, is when you're staying in the boat. You got to get out of shallow end. You got to think beyond what you see. You got to understand that you got to take advantage of this moment. This is a season of innovation. Normal is
Gotcha.
not coming back.
Yeah.
Normal is what you create for the future. And so
Right.
that's what I love about it. And that's where we are right now, seeing beyond what you see and transforming your reality. And so it's a great book for you to get and read and implement in your life.
Beautiful, man. So before we tap into the Unwrap the Gift in your book, I wanna build a bridge between 6 years ago. You kind of spoke about the leadership 2020 in South Africa, and you had an encounter with DJ Boo. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, and why was that called Leadership 2020 back in the days?
Yes. And I would be derelict and negligent if I did not mention as well the whole aspect of Vision Summit, which is taking place this coming Friday and Saturday, July 31st and Saturday, August 1st. For those of you who are watching, you don't have to come to any location. It's coming to you via computer or
Yeah, that's
phone
it.
right in your home. Thevisionsummit.org. You can register right now. And I love it that we have people who are registered as far as Jamaica as well as South Africa, and of course throughout the United States. But thevisionsummit.org focus on education, empowerment, entrepreneurship, Friday, July 31st and Saturday, August 1st, transforming your vision action, managing your money and your mentality, really how to understand your gift and how to really profit from your purpose is what it's all about. With that whole aspect of 2020 vision in regard to Africa, it really comes from that whole aspect. When you think about the motherland, it has a millennial movement that's taking place. 51% of the population on the continent are 19 years of age and under. If you narrow that down a little bit more, 27% of the South African population numbers about 14 million people. And so helping people and empowering people to move from consumer to producer, move from just purchaser to a creator, and understanding that we're kings and queens. We come from kings and queens. And so building, developing, investing in yourself. But also what I love about that word African, the last four letters in the word African spells I can. You know, we have to say we can overcome. I can build. I can create. I can think positive. I can break out of this aspect and this into an opportunity, whether you're African or African American. You got to have that mindset of I can. And so to be able to connect with DJ Spoo, to be able to connect with my brother from another mother, Nicholas Regisford, to be able to see that whole 2020 vision come to fruition is what it's all about. And matter of fact, they had that mindset before even 2020 came into place. So we're futurists, we're forward thinkers, and I love it. Forward ever, backward never.
That's it, man. I love that. So let's talk about your book. Let's talk about this specific one here, right? So this is, by the way, the title of this show, Unwrapping the Gift in You. So how can you encourage, be it an individual, be it somebody who's currently going through a hard time, or somebody who's trying to figure out exactly how to come out of a difficult situation, somebody who's trying to figure out when to jump on the bandwagon of entrepreneurship. I'm all about entrepreneurs. I'm all about really helping entrepreneurs across Africa and around the world as well. More about empowering the Black community to being able to realize that, you know what, there's different ways of doing things, and let's just grab these opportunities. And in fact, as early as the lockdown, I've been talking to a whole bunch of entrepreneurs and encouraging them to spending time to learning new skills, like right now. So figuring out exactly what is their true purpose in life, what it is that they have as a talent for them to be able to achieve these goals, right? To go out there and either start their own business or learn that new skill that will add more money in their pocket or give more meaning into their life's purpose, whatever that is. So what can you do right now? What are the key words you can speak to somebody's heart right now who may feel down, whatever that is? What can you tell them?
You know, your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with that talent is your gift to God. There's a quote that says an entrepreneur is like one who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down without a parachute. What that speaks of, the missing integer, is that there's risk and reward. But guess what? There won't be any reward without you taking the risk. We're living in risky times right now. And the most riskiest thing that you can do is to actually take advantage of the opportunity that you have to discover the gift that you have on the inside. When you think about 45 million people in America being unemployed, when you think about 40% of Black businesses who have either shut down or will shut down due to COVID-19, when you think about furloughs and unemployment, when you think about people who are trying to pay their mortgage, much less their rent, not knowing where their next income is coming from, not knowing where maybe even their next meal is coming from, grappling and dealing with the disdain and the unrest, the uneasiness of what is going on in life. Scripture recalls 2 Kings chapter 4. And I think this is such a great perspective for entrepreneurs. There's a widow woman in the scripture, 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1. And she's crying to the prophet Elisha simply because she had lost her husband. Her husband's the provider of her home. And now, as she's in the midst of her personal pandemic, the creditors want to take her two sons as slaves, as bondmen. Prophet says to her, Elisha, what do you have in your house? He never asked what's in your bank account, never asked her what's in her chariot, never asked her what's in her storage unit. He asked her what's in her house. She has some oil that's there, just a little bit of oil. And now he tells her to go ahead and begin to pour. This is what you have to do while you're locked in, as you mentioned, while you're shut in, while you're literally under house arrest. What you've got to do is you got to begin to shut the door and begin to pour. You got a little bit, but you got to pour, and you're going to see that it increases. In verse 1, She's crying over creditors. But guess what, John? In verse 7, she's an entrepreneur. In
That's it.
verse 1, she's crying, but in verse 7, she's shouting. And what I love about it, in verse 1, here it is, she's owing, but in verse 7, she's owning. And this is an opportunity for you to move from debt and doubt into divine revelation. This is an opportunity for you to move into the place of unwrapping the gift. That's what she did. She went into her house, she shut the door, and she began to pour into her gift. Somebody's watching me right now. South Africa, Texas, London, Maryland, LA, Dubai, wherever you're from. Hi, listen, you got to begin to pour into that vision again, pour into that book, pour into that opportunity, pour into that entrepreneurship. Here it is. It's going to happen. Where was she? In her house. It's not going to happen necessarily on the street, not going to happen in the corner office, not going to necessarily happen from nations to neighborhoods. Now you're in your home right now. Pour back into your vision, your home. The book can be written in your house. The vision can be launched in your house. The entrepreneurial idea can come to fruition in your house. You can move from not enough to more than enough in your house. And here it is in verse 7, she begins to live off the rest. What wasn't enough in the first few verses became more than enough to handle. I'm moving from owing to owning. That's the power of an entrepreneur.
That's what it is, man. And with that being said, I want you to tell them, how can we see beyond what we see and transform our reality? Because I just feel like what you just ended with right now carries on with this question as well. And how can you help entrepreneurs? I mean, look, a lot of businesses have been shut down. A lot of people are going through difficulties right now. Many people actually had certain plans that didn't go according to their plans. And other folks are trying to figure out exactly, okay, you know what? Asking God, what is my next best move? What should I do right now? Do we need to be so worried about what's going on right now that we can see? But how can we see the invisible? How can we go beyond that moment so that when we wake up in the morning, we're able to transform the reality around us? What are the things you can actually help and tell the audience right now that is following you and being touched by your words? And so am I, by the way. How can you empower each and every single one of us here to see a little different than what we see right now around us?
Great question. Powerful and poignant. You know, it comes from the whole aspect. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. Listen, you've got breath in your body, you've got life, you've got health, you've got strength, you've got certain advantages that you have right now that are at your beckoning call, that are really at your behest, so to speak. What am I going to do to seize the moment? How am I going to maximize the moment? Listen, you were created in a generation that is for your gift, and your gift is for the specific generation. I think your prayer life, I think your meditation life has to begin to move into a place. God, what was I created to do? What problem was I created to solve? You ought to drive through your neighborhood. You ought to look through the portals and the panels of where it is that you are in your life and see, what problem can I remediate? Dr. Miles Monroe said every problem has a business. Every problem is a business. He said, vision is purpose in pictures. When you close your eyes, when you begin to envision, when you begin to visualize where you are, but also where you're going, what do you see? And as you see it, how are you going to build it? Listen, in America, what they say is only 95%, only 5% of people write down their goals. 95% of Americans do not even write them down. Of the 5% that do, here it is, 95% of the time they end up accomplishing it. So many times we're so afraid. And that's why I write in my chapter, in one of the books that I've written, 2020 Vision, there's a chapter called Forsake the Familiar. We got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We got to get uncomfortable with being comfortable. You got to shake yourself out of lethargy and sadness and procrastination. You're waiting for life to return back to what it used to be. What used to be isn't working anymore. I say that because I broke my glasses the other day and I had a hissy fit all by myself. I had a temper tantrum and I heard God speak to me. what you're looking through is no longer working for you. I didn't break the lens. Here it is. I broke the frame. Isn't it interesting? The financial frame of life is broken. The frame of justice is broken. The frame of, in many cases, relationships is broken. Life
Right.
is filled with swift transitions. Now I've got to have a greater vision to see through what I'm going through and begin
Right.
to be an eagle. All other birds, when there's a storm, they fly away from it, but an eagle soars into the storm and
That's
uses it
it.
to go higher. How will you use what you're going through to get to the next level?
Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is an opportunity for you to, well, to stand a chance to win a book. I'm giving away a book at the end of this particular session. So we have about another 20, 25 minutes and so forth. But at the same time as well, if you have any questions for Dr. Eddie, please put them in the comment below. My team or myself will pick that up and get Dr. Eddie to actually answer those questions. This is an amazing, powerful session, powerful, inspirational session that you definitely want to be able to share or pull out as well certain questions that you may have for us to be able to answer those questions. I'm here to share the knowledge. I'm here to impact you through my guest, but at the same time, we are learning. Each and every single one of the guests coming on the show is here to empower you guys, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in business, whether you are somebody trying to figure out exactly how to move on to that next step, right? So these are the sessions. We are here to do just that for you. It is not for me specifically, although I'm learning through the process, but you know what? It is to actually create a community and encourage each and every single one of us. Whether you are in Michigan, in the US, in Jamaica, in South America, in Dubai, in Africa, we're here to do this just for you. And that's my calling, by the way. And you mentioned Dr. Miles Monroe, man. I mean, look, what an
Yeah, yeah.
honor. I've had the privilege of being with him just 6 weeks before his plane crashed.
Wow.
And you know, and I remember when I met him, I have a picture with him, and he mentioned to me, John, what we need as an African people, as a black person, is to rewrite our story. And the only way we
Mm,
can do that is once again to figure out exactly what is our life's purpose, what has God planted in us. And in fact, Miles Monroe was always encouraging people to write a book.
yeah,
You
always,
know,
always,
he always
always. Yeah.
mentioned you've got to write a book because you've got so much to offer that is within you. And man, I'm just waiting for me to actually get started and being on one book. I've got 3 books in my head, but I haven't actually even put anything anything down on paper yet.
We
But
need
I
your
gotta
mind, brother.
say it again.
We need your mind, man, on those pages. Because whenever we read a book, we're literally reading what your thought pattern is. So we need that to transform and shift in this day and time and age. So we calling you,
Absolutely.
man, from all over the globe.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that you know it is in my mind, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get these 3 books I have in my mind definitely out. It speaks to my life's journey as an entrepreneur and the 18 years that I've been able to achieve here in South Africa, but also my traveling around the world and meeting people like yourself as well. So I've learned a great deal, right? So the one thing I want to talk about right now is, you know, let's shift gears a little bit here. What does it mean to be black in America right now in 2020? What does it mean?
Wow.
Man,
You
there's
know,
so many
yeah.
things going on, man. Like we used to, I remember as a kid, right? America was the place. Like we
Mm,
want to be in America. We want to study in America. We want to travel to the US, right? But I think the more and more we've grown, a lot of people, first of all, so many folks in the diaspora are looking to come back in Africa. So
wow.
why would we
Wow.
leave places like the US, Europe, to come back to Africa? I'm speaking to well accomplished individuals who are like, you know what? I'm an American citizen, but trust me, well, American citizen by through the should I say naturalization or you know after the permanent residency and requesting for citizenship. But a lot of these folks are looking to come back, and then we see all the murders, the police brutality. We see all these things. We see George Floyd.
Yeah.
happening on the streets. What's it like to be to be a Black American today?
Wow. Maybe you just gave us a Marcus Garvey New Millennial Movement Back to Africa movement. It because that being around our brothers and sisters in the diaspora might be the place to be. James Baldwin said to be Black in America and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. The Bible says to be angry and sin not. So you've got righteous indignation throughout the streets of the nation. How can I not be angry? How can I not be dealing with the fires of fury and frustration when the oxygen supply of freedom, justice, and equality is being choked from Black bodies? When you think about every 28 hours, a Black man, Black male is the victim of police brutality in these yet to be United States of America. The killers of Breonna Taylor have still not been arrested, much less even indicted. We're living in an incarceration nation when there's 40% of those in prison who are Black. Majority of them are nonviolent offenders. So you're coupling that from George Floyd to Ahmaud Arbery, back to Trayvon Martin, back all the way to Emmett Till, and it seems as if time travel is real because it seems as if we're living in 1955 or 1960 rather than 2020. And John Lewis, the conscious of the Congress, the dearly departed John Lewis, and C.T. Vivian, Reverend C.T. Vivian, encouraged us to get into good trouble. And more than ever before, I think it's time that we roll up our sleeves. Politically, we're perplexed from our house all the way to the White House by the virus of COVID-19, racism since 1619, but also COVID 45. And we have a perverse president who, in many cases, can't keep it real. And as Dr. King said, his lips drip with the interposition of nullification. And so the prevailing problem is that he wears a mask over his eyes, but not his mouth. So, and now we're grappling with the whole aspect of even politically, um, where we're really trying to fight. And, we're saying Black Lives Matter. If you think about that, we're not even marching for our Black lives equal. When you think about us marching for civil rights, it wasn't even that we marched for equal rights. We just wanted you to be civil to us. We just want you to recognize that our existence matters. And so I think it's we're moving to the place of when will Black lives be deemed equal? We need a redistribution of wealth. We need even reparations. We need restoration. We need reconciliation. And all that has to come into place of justice. Justice delayed is justice denied. And so we're really holding America's feet to the fire when we're a nation on life support. And it's interesting. America's now, who was asymptomatic to its own virus for so many years, is now literally on life support, is now dealing with the whole pain of it trying to be in a place of it gasping for its own air because it suffocated and choked the lives of not just Black people of color, the Native Americans, our Latino and our Latino brothers and sisters as well. And so now is the time to really roll up our sleeves, and we gotta not just protest, we also got to advocate for policy.
So you've mentioned the Black Lives Matter, and I had a question on that for you. But at the same time, the one thing I want to find out from you: do you think that the Black Lives Matter is a political movement? Is it something that's achieving its purpose? Is it something that's really speaking to the fact that, you know what, George Floyd is the recent case with regard to police brutality? And has that really been able to solve that? I mean, just last week I was seeing on television a Black woman trying to put black paint on the Black Lives Matter street, right? So how is that speaking, standing as a message to the Black community? There's definitely a divide between the Black community. Those who actually believe that Black Lives Matter is a scam or it is a political ploy, and those of other people who are like, you know what? Well, Black Lives Matter, and we need to be able to support this initiative. But also, I've been watching along the way saying there's a website, Black Lives Matter, whereby some of the proceeds of the donation seem to be affiliated to the Democratic Party. So, what can you tell me? What are your thoughts with regard to Black Lives Matter, really, both from a political perspective, also what the Black community is expecting to achieve? Do you think it is really doing what it's supposed to do?
Well, if you think about every movement in America, has always been at the epicenter, especially for Black people, has always been at the epicenter of the church. The church has always been at the forefront of it, and we've always had a faith leader, a religious figure who has spoken out regarding many of our issues and will connect faith to the whole aspect of remediation for injustice. The Black Lives Matter movement is void of that. There is no church affiliation to our knowledge. There is no pastor who is in the forefront amplifying the voice. Not necessarily even sure if it is a grassroots movement, so to speak. So even with the overarching theme, I think the whole aspect has to be that Black liberation matters. And there's always protester provocateurs. There are always those who would be hired, so to speak, to infiltrate. You think about even from Malcolm X to Dr. King, there were always infiltrators trying to eradicate and dispel the whole aspect of our forward progress for justice. So I think one thing that we have to be cognizant of is that we have to amalgamate more than ever before. We have to be able to think and move in a greater plane more than ever before. And we're going to have to, yes, not just put our feet to the streets. We're also going to have to put some pen to paper. We're going to have to come together more than ever before and begin to amplify our voice. And so I don't necessarily stand on the shoulders of the Democratic, definitely don't stand on the shoulders of the Republican Party. I stand on the shoulders of Martin, Malcolm, Edgar, Mandela, many of those individuals who will cry loud and spare not. And so when you see many of these things going on, I think we as we say, we got to stay woke. We have to really keep our minds on our mission, but also we still have to understand still Black life matters. Black liberation matters. Black education for Black communities matter. The eradication of environmental racism, that matters. Loving our brothers and our sisters, that matters. And so once we begin to put that and speak truth to power, then I think we can begin to march and make some forward progress as we move forward.
Where does that leave us with regard to the non-Black people? And the fact that their lives matter too. And we live in a different world right now. And of course, so many of the things we see today is obviously a result of the hundreds of years whereby, we've gone through a certain journey, the slaves and so forth. And what about them who believe that their lives matter too? What can we tell? What should be the message for the non-Black?
I think what the message should be is that the reason we say people are saying Black lives matter is because their life doesn't seem to matter. When you think about people who are in a place of privilege, when you think about systemic racism, when you think about injustice that continues to go on, that is in favor to where people benefit from that. And if your mouth is muzzled, yes, you wear a mask, but you don't wear a muzzle. And if you refuse to speak up, if you refuse to get people into opportunities and positions to be in, here it is, an anti-racist. Just saying I'm not racist isn't good enough. What do you, because I voted for Obama, because you're married to somebody who might be Black, because, you have a Black friend. That's not good enough. You can still have microaggression aspects to where you see Karens and Kens these days. But the whole aspect of saying all lives matter is like screaming, I got a birthday too. You just straight up crazy. It's just straight up insane. And you're tone deaf. When you think about even in scripture, Jesus forsook the 99 to go after the one. It's not that the 99 don't matter, but the one is in danger. The one is in danger. Who is this one? Black people. We're in danger because we're at a disproportionate rate of police brutality. We're in danger because we don't have economic sustainability and opportunity. We're in danger because our house is burning down, but yours doesn't have a flame. So don't say all houses matter. Don't say all lives matter when people like yours are not being lost at this rate, right? So I think the whole aspect is now, how do I become an anti-racist? How do I begin to get in the fight with you? And what I love about it is we need our white brothers and sisters too. Dr. King said, the white keys are just as important as the black keys. And when you play those in concert together, it's a beautiful harmony, right? So we don't need a cacophony. We need a harmony. We need a symphony. We need an orchestration of us coming together to recognize you don't have to look like me to fight for me, but you can get in the fight with me. It's about more than just holding up a sign. It's about you recognizing the signs and now remediating that to say, let me create a table, not just put a table there. Let me bring you to the table so that you can begin to have an opportunity that affords it and have a piece of the pie of the American dream.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said. By the way, before we move on to the next session, my team just announced to me that we got a winner of tonight's book giveaway, and his name is Charlton Thomas Smith. He's actually in East London, watching from South Africa, East London. So Charlton, what you're gonna do is obviously to reach out, and my team is gonna pick up your message. Make sure that you actually send us your address, and we're going to ship the book straight to you. And the one thing we want to be able to do is when you get the book, please take a picture and send it to us and tag us on social media. Would really appreciate a lot. And yeah, so some very, very powerful messages from Dr. Ada right now. So the one thing I want to talk about, let's talk a bit about politics a little bit. All right. So the elections, Donald Trump and COVID-19. And I like your analogy on COVID 45. So please tell me. I love it, man. So what do you think of the elections, man? I mean, and by the way, our brother Kanye West.
Oh gosh.
I mean, seriously. Look. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm a contrarian, so to speak. Not in a bad way, really, but I mean, I don't like the status quo. I like to challenge things, and that's why sometimes I feel like I kind of like Donald Trump. As stupid as he may sound or he may be, but he's shaking up a lot of the political scene right now. Okay, and but I don't believe in doing the same things that don't produce the results we're looking for. So we got to break that cycle. We got to bring something new. But unfortunately, Trump hasn't been able to achieve those goals. He just, he's brought in so many distraction and shaking a little bit of the political scene out there and so forth, right? But and then we have Kanye West.
Look, this is America.
You know the song. He's got a song or an album, Late Registration, right?
What a late registration.
So he's got an album or a song titled Late Registration. Does not apply to him right now with regard to the race, the presidential race. And by the way, what's going on with this guy, man? Please tell me a little bit more about what's going on in the scene, in the political scene with regard to elections. And what's your stance? Who do you think is going to get back to the White House?
You know, I've hung out with Kanye before. This was all prior to the loss of his mother, Donda West, Professor Donda West, Dr. Donda West. And I know that rattled him to the core. And, you know, people take grief differently. And, you know, Kanye is not necessarily Kanye. We are seeing him. You know, we're looking at it. We're looking at Biden. We're looking at Trump. We're looking at Kanye. Right. We're looking at the place of Kanye is definitely a disruptor, and you know he's definitely a MAGA supporter without a doubt. We're in this place of this climate to where now we have to either decide between someone who has dementia, someone who's demonic, or someone who is mentally discombobulated. Right. That's the choice that we have here in America. America is not Bethlehem. Donald Trump was not born wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. If anything, his words have, in many cases, endangered the most vulnerable of Americans in this nation. And in many cases, what we're seeing is it's the right mic, wrong person. Right. Because Dr. Kanye West said America's having a Keith Sweat moment. Something just ain't right. And Donald Trump's future politics are enough to just make the systemic system structure sweat. Because as the comedian D.L. Hughley said, America, Donald Trump is the president that America deserves. Why is he saying that? Because he is in public with a lot of white Americans in private. And in many cases, he's
Right.
embarrassing to a certain degree the people who seem to be shrouded in the racism. Right? We've gone from white capes to now robes and suits and Karens and Kens. We've gone from that, and kleptocracy. Karens, Kens, and kleptocracy is the new KKK. Right? So now we're hearing the chants of make America great again. But when has America ever been great? Was it great when it enslaved African bodies? Was it great when it took the land of Native Americans? Was it great when it enslaved those same black bodies and put them on cargo and ships and sold them? Was it great when they were castrated and mutilated? Was it great when they were segregated and discriminated? Right? It comes from this whole place now of America's dealing with its original sin.
Right.
And so what we're seeing is the unearthing of the rage. We're seeing the unearthing of the negativity. And guess what? It's polarized and paralyzed. And in this pandemic of fighting COVID-19, racism since 1619, as I said before, COVID 45, we're in a viral situation. And so, Trump to a certain degree is a trumpet. He has alerted, he has aroused the conscience of many whites who are disadvantaged. And the thing is, this is so unique. This is so important because Jim Crow, this new Jim Crow of what we're experiencing, is psychological racism. W.B. Du Bois talked about it. Lyndon B. Johnson talked about it. If I make a white man feel better than a black man who was in the same state, then I can bring about disruption. Right. He's not making any more than a black man, but he has a psychological advantage because he can get into a white area. He can get into a specific place, but he's still to a certain degree even discriminated against because he doesn't have the status, because he doesn't have the stature, because he or she doesn't have the money. And so when we think about it, we're all in this together, and it's politics with politricks. And now we have to make a distinct decision. Are we going to win together, or are we going to suffer because we're divided against each other? And a house divided against itself cannot stand. We're in a burning building. We're in a burning nation. And now we got to put the fires out.
Dr. Eddie, my man, you are just amazing, man. You know what? I'm definitely going to bring you back again, probably in the next 2 months or so, to have a great conversation as well, and to keep on inspiring and empowering the people out there. Really, you've been nothing but amazing. This conversation has brought some light to me on so many other levels, and really certainly inspired me. And I'm pretty sure that somebody somewhere right now watching you speak has definitely been touched as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually reached the end of this conversation, and I want to let Dr. Eddie to spend the next few minutes to leave you with the words that should inspire you and encourage you for the week, but also for the rest of the year. Ahead of your Vision 2020 Summit, I would love some tickets as well there, please. If you don't mind, I will actually go on and register for that and make sure that for the next 3 days, I watch some of your speakers. And please, what can you tell the audience right now with regards to what's going on around us? The pandemic, the COVID-19 and 45 analogy, the rest of the year. What do you and the unwrapping the gift within us? So what can you tell the people right now as a takeaway?
When as I was just referring to MAGA, I think we've got to redefine that as make anti-racism great again. We've got to make anointing great again. We've got to make answerability great again. We've got to make accountability great again. And so I think what we're right now in a seminal moment, and the person who's watching me, listen, this is such a great opportunity for you to invest in yourself. This is such a great opportunity to unearth the gifts that you didn't even realize you had. You're more than a preacher, you're a writer. You're more than a writer, you're a musician. You're more than a musician, You're an innovator. You're a teacher. You're an instructor. There's a gift that's on the inside of you that now this perfect storm of this pandemic can really cause you to walk on water by faith. And so, what I encourage you to do, the other day I was looking for my glasses. They were on my face. I was looking for my phone. It was on my ear. I was looking for my watch. It was on my wrist. So many times we're looking around for what we already have. You're looking for love, but it's right in here. You're looking for somebody to pat you on the back, but you got to encourage yourself in the Lord. You're looking for somebody to do this and that for you. But the greatest help that you have is at the end of your wrist. And now is the time for you to stir up your gift, unwrap that gift that's on the inside of you, and allow it to speak truth to power. Listen, we want to do that in such an incredible way. We've got as many as 20 speakers, and counting me, this coming Friday, July 31st and Saturday, August 1st, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be absolutely empowering. We're undercharging and over delivering. The reason I say that is because it's just $39 US. And for 2 days, not per day, $39 US for 2 days. You're not going to get that any place. Generally, it's going to have a 0 at the end of the 9 or 1 in front of the 3, right? So you can't get your hair done for $39 US. You can't put gas in your tank for just that small amount. But we're going to pour so much into you: education, empowerment, entrepreneurship, how to do ministry with intentionality, how to merge kingdom, culture, community all together at once and never lose your authenticity and your anointing, how to do ministry in the marketplace, how to literally create your literature and your book, how to birth your CD, how to birth what is on the inside of you, how to transform that vision that you have into action. This is not a segmented summit. This is an inclusive summit. We got to bring it all together. Social justice. We got to bring our white brothers and sisters together. We got to bring our African and Jamaican and Caribbean brothers and sisters together. We got to bring our Native American and Latinx brothers and sisters together. We have to bring it all together, and we're doing that under the guise of the Vision Summit. Go to thevisionsummit.org right now. The revolution not only be televised, it'll be digitized. Thevisionsummit.org, and the revolution is going to be absolutely incredible. It's a revolution of innovation, revolution of vision, a revolution of opportunity. Go ahead and seize the moment right now and join us there. So I'm so grateful for you, Brother John, using your voice. John is known as the beloved disciple, and so you're so beloved locally and globally. And I appreciate you showing love to your brother from another mother. And we in this together, brother. So African Def, I can. We sure can.
That's what's up, man.
Brother. Yes, sir.
I can. My man, peace and love. You know what? I really appreciate you, and I'm certainly going to reach out again, and I look forward to engaging more. So all the best with the conference. I look forward to being a part of it, and I'll definitely keep in touch with you, man. And until then, you keep well, brother. Stay safe.
Awesome.
Well, that was an amazing session, guys. It was a powerful session. So if you guys have been really impacted positively during this session, make sure to tune in every single Monday. We are bringing to you a guest that is here to be able to impact you, to be able to share knowledge, to be able to inspire you, whether you are a struggling entrepreneur, whether you are a growth entrepreneur, whether you are looking to get started in business and you're looking to raise funding and what have you. We're here to talk about these issues that we face every single day. Today's conversation was more than just being an entrepreneur. It was also about tapping in your inner self, identifying that gift in you. And Dr. Eddie has been able to bless us tonight with his story. Somebody who certainly has been able to beat the cancer, a stage 4 cancer, and became that powerful voice that constantly has been able to empower the people out there around the world. So if you can go to the website he mentioned earlier on, the summit, the visionsummit.org, and make sure that you get yourself a ticket. And I guarantee you that you will be impacted. $39 alone, that's not too much money. I've been in events whereby we pay more than that, over thousands of dollars just to be able to acquire knowledge. And if this is for you, make sure to go out there and watch Dr. Eddie. So until then, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again very, very much. So I believe Charlton, make sure that you send us a private message. We're going to pick up your message, your address, and we're going to send you the new book. So you're the owner of the new book, and share this live. We actually keep it on YouTube as well, and it lives on Twitter, We are multicasting on several platforms at the same time. Make sure you come back next week, Monday, for another amazing guest. Every Monday, we're here to empower you guys. Until then, keep well and love you guys. Thank you. Bye now.